Cedar Point is known for having one of, if not the best coaster collection in the entire world. And I got to visit this amazing park in August of 2022. I know, I'm finally uploading a ranking video now, but anyway, pretty much how this video is going to work is I'm just going to rank each of Cedar Point's coasters by each of their best element. So first I just want to say that this is not how I rank their roller coasters on their own. It's actually very different. And one other thing I just want to get out of the way is that I was only able to ride 12 of their 15 operating roller coasters when I was there. And I went before Wild Mouse opened, so I also didn't get on that one. But anyway, let's waste no time and get right into the list. Starting at number 12 is Woodstock Express with its first drop. I mean, it's a kiddie coaster, what do you expect? It has a little bit of laterals in the back row, but the trains are very cramped, so it's also a little bit uncomfortable at the same time. So yeah. At number 11, we have Cedar Creek Mine Ride and its straight track over the water. Pretty much the same thing here as Woodstock Express. I mean, it's a mine train, one of the most tame ones. So there's not really much to expect. I mean, it's probably one of the least janky moments of the entire coaster, which is pretty good. And you feel the little bit of speed that you have, and it feels like you're gliding over the water. So a fun little element, but couldn't rank it any higher. And at number 10 is Corkscrew, and I'm talking about that first vertical loop. And it's probably this coaster's only good element. The corkscrews are just completely terrible. By far the worst ones I've ever experienced. And that airtime hill is just pure torture. I don't know what it is, but you get thrown into that over the shoulder restraint, and it should be good, but it's not. And the rest of the ride kind of just doesn't do anything. The drop is boring, and the straight track is okay, I guess. So yeah, now back onto the loop. It's pretty intense actually, like it's very intense. At number 9, we have Iron Dragon, and this one might not be what you think. It's the drop, and not the second drop with the swinging. That moment's really good too, but the first drop. This drop really caught me off guard because you actually get some really good sustained float airtime, and I was in the middle, not even the back, so I can't imagine how good it is in the back. And you can't even see the bottom because of all the trees, and how enclosed those aero suspended coaster cars are. I just love this moment so much. I really don't know why. I probably love it more than I should. Coming in at number 8, we have Gatekeepern. And I'm talking about the first drop and that Immelman that comes right after the drop. And like I said earlier, this is not like my normal ranking, and this one definitely shows it, because Gatekeepern is a pretty good coaster, and I have it higher than 8 in my rankings. But anyway, to get back on topic of the actual elements, this is actually a very forceful moment of the ride. I'd easily grayed out at the bottom of the drop, and I wasn't riding in the front, but I'm sure if I was in the front, I'd get great hang time on the drop and Immelman. It's a great element, but I mean, this coaster just doesn't have many standout elements. At number 7, we have a pretty surprising one if you're not new to this channel. This is Magnum XL200, and I know what a lot of you guys are going to be saying, like, wait, I thought Magnum was your least favorite coaster in the park and anywhere. And yes, it is, but there is one good moment, and that's the speed hill after the first tunnel. It's surprisingly good. Like, you get sustained flow ejector, and it's actually comfortable. Not painful at all, not like the triangle hills later in the ride, but just some nice airtime, a smooth element, and it's just a really good time being on that element, but it all goes downhill from there, so enjoy that element when you can. And at number 6, we have Raptor and the final helix. This is probably the most sustained gray out I've ever had. I mean, this thing has got to be like 10 or 15 seconds, which is just completely insane. And not too many rides or roller coasters do you see the best element being at the very end. A lot of times it kind of dies out by the end, but this one does the complete opposite. You end with one of the best helixes and just moments of positive G's on any coaster. It's such a good element. Number 5 is Gemini, and it's Head Chopper Hill. This is the last hill right before the step up into the brake run, which I think gives stronger airtime, but this is the better element. You really don't see this coming, especially in the back row. Like, the drop feels like it's double the size of the first half of the element. And another thing I need to say with Gemini is it is comfortable and mostly smooth. Unlike Magnum, its airtime moments are strong but comfortable. I don't know what they did wrong with Magnum. I don't know if the restraints are a little bit different, they feel the same, but whatever. Like I was saying, this is a really good element and you don't see it coming at all. And now that we're at number 4, I'd say this is when the main elite elements really start. So to kick off the first one, at number 4 we have Valravn and its first drop. Wow, this is almost as sustained as, well, spoiler alert, another element that might just happen to be a drop later on this list. Not quite as sustained, but you still get so much floater airtime. I don't understand what people are talking about when they say they don't like dive coasters. I mean, it's almost like they don't like sustained floater airtime or something. Like, just because it's not ejector doesn't mean it's not good. And I also hear that people don't like the restraints, and I don't get that either. Like, you get a little stapled on the final brake run, I guess, which, speaking of that final brake run, it's completely brutal. It's terrible. But besides that, like I was saying, the drop is amazing. And the restraints on SheiKra don't really give any more airtime than Valravn, so I think both drops are tied. At number 3, we have what is, in my rankings, my number 1 at Cedar Point. And you probably think I'm going to say Steel Vengeance, but I'm actually talking about Maverick. A great coaster, but just like Gatekeeper, it's more about like the really good elements it does have, and just the way it flows. Everything flows perfectly. But the element I'm talking about is the second Stengel dive. Wow, this thing has so much whip. Like, it's actually insane. You literally get ejector airtime in the back row on a Stengel dive. Like, you look at a POV, you don't understand how this element could possibly give any airtime at all. It looks like it'd just be like, I don't know, positive G's or something. But it's just crazy how strong it is. Like, I considered the first drop, the airtime hill, and like the second launch. They're all great elements. The second launch is probably the next closest to winning, but I ended up giving it to that second Stengel dive because it's just completely insane and I can't get enough of it. Now for our number 2 spot, we have Steel Vengeance. And I'm not talking about the Outer Bank, I'm talking about that top hat. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but that top hat is so sustained ejector. The Outer Bank could never. All it offers is floater. It's a good element, but this top hat is really where it's at. Mention, you do also get a little bit of laterals on the way up and down. But that's not our number 1, because our number 1 is Millennium Force's first drop. Where do I even begin with this one? This coaster is so iconic, and these days pretty much the definition of underrated. So is this drop. Like, everyone raves about the other Giga drops, but they don't talk about this one as much. This is easily the most sustained airtime moment I have ever experienced, and easily one of the best coaster elements I've ever experienced too. It is just insane how long it lasts, and it's not even just floater, like, it's ejector airtime, like real ejector airtime. And you just feel like you're on top of the world for a good 7 seconds. I can't even explain how sustained it is. You just have to ride it yourself, and that's the whole reason why I prefer Millennium Force in the back row. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next video.